All right, everyone. I don't really like the whole guilt by association thing, and it's been happening for quite some time. This has been a real big problem among content creators. You go on someone's show, even if it's for the purposes of debate, by the way. Immediately, anyone that doesn't like them also doesn't like you, and vice versa. And so, interactions between content creators actually can be kind of fraught. There have been times where I know that people didn't want me on their show, for example, because I have 666 in my name and maybe their audience is more Christian. There are times when I've had to bounce people from my show for the same reason, although I've done this very, very sparingly. It's basically, hey, and you were convicted of pedophilia or something, I don't really want to platform you. Otherwise, I don't care if you're a Nazi or whatever. I don't care if you're a communist, actually. So when I saw this article, I thought it was funny because this is just part of the problem. The legacy media really does not like independent content creation. It doesn't want people to be independent. It wants people to be reliant upon them. So this article is a long, long stink piece. It's got Tucker Carlson and everything else under the sun. Buried down towards the end of the article, because, it's ancient history, it happened in 2022, is the dinner that Donald Trump hosted. And Nick Fuentes and Yee were there. Oh my God, Kanye West showed up. How terrible. Of course, now he's a Nazi. He's self-proclaimed this. By the way, good song, Heil Hitler by Kanye, which is routinely disappeared off of YouTube, but now there are like 10,000 different variants of it, so shouldn't be hard to find, just saying. I thought it was a good song. I thought it was a banger. Why do you care? Effectively, it's just another example of Orange Man bad. Orange Man had people over that we proclaim to the public should not be agreed with, should not be taken seriously, and are bad people. And therefore, Orange Man bad. Also, Black Man bad and Hispanic Man bad, oddly enough, in this particular case. Three Nazis walk into a bar. One of them's the president of the United States, another one is Hispanic, and another one is black. The jokes write themselves at this point. Guilt by association is one of the greatest evils that's perpetuated by the legacy media on a gullible public in order to stop people from interacting with one another because they're afraid if we continue like maybe the blood sports era sort of thing, if we just interact with one another and ignore the legacy media and archive literally everything they post when we're criticizing it, which the criticism also writes itself, they're afraid that they're going to go out of business, effectively. It's nothing more than sour grapes. You talk to somebody 10 years ago who had views that might have been staggeringly different, by the way, at the time, but, just said something positive about, baby Adolf Hitler and how they wouldn't kill him or something like that. That means you're basically a Nazi. You decided to pal around with a person who liked pineapple on their pizza, while clearly the public should know. You're clearly endorsing pineapple on pizza, and so half the public will fucking hate you. This sounds rather, juvenile, doesn't it? It sounds weird. It doesn't sound particularly logical, but it's exactly what they're engaging in. They're doing it all of the goddamn time. In this article, again, take the link. I suggest that you read it. You'll want to read down some degree as well. Character assassination and guilt by association have been such a prominent feature of all of the reporting that we've been seeing for years and years. Now, they've been doing it for much longer than that, but it's become more and more pronounced over time. It's definitely different in the social media era and certainly, even more recent era because social media itself is, browning it as well. It's growing older. It's not exactly, Facebook's not exactly a new site anymore. Neither is Twitter. Same thing. YouTube and stuff like that. But especially post that particular era, guilt by association has been one of the big things. Like they'll write a hit piece and people who have, in some cases, no connection to one another at all are lumped into the same categories, and they're artificially conjoined together in hopes that somebody who doesn't like one of the people that's being targeted will also dislike the other one that is being targeted, even if they know nothing about them. I've seen this before. The Wall Street Journal is famous for doing stuff like this. It happened to me. It's happened over and over. The fact that Nick Fuentes and Kanye ate at the White House, who gives a shit? I mean, at the Mar-a-Lago, actually. Trump was out of office at the time. Who cares? What's the significance of this? It means absolutely nothing to me. Oh my God, somebody ate. Well, obviously, anyone that was at that table shares exactly the same ideological views. In other words, you're saying that Kanye and Nick Fuentes share the same views as, the dude in the corner that was serving the food. That's basically what it amounts to. It's mental midget gymnastics. It's like watching a bunch of retarded midgets attempt to do an acrobatic act. That's the legacy media that we have today. It's basically no different. A bunch of little dudes are trying to get on that tightrope, but they just can't make it work. It's almost pathetic at times, actually. And it's a demented obsession, actually, with regards to the left. And it is unique to the left, by the way. The right wing does not, generally speaking, engage in this type of behavior. There are some people on the right that say this is a bad thing. Well, the left is running roughshod over us. We need to fight back harder. Yeah, but you need to fight back more intelligently because clearly this is not intelligence that I'm reading here. This is not something that was written by someone who actually possesses it. This was written by someone who got money from a corporation and was told, hey, attack these people. Figure out a way to do it. All right, well, I can do that. And then they pocket 5 grand and then they write an article or something like that. That's basically what's happening here. Who gives a shit if Kanye West eats dinner? It reminds me a little bit of the mentality of Maxine Waters, actually. Don't let him go to the gas station. Don't let him go to the restaurant. Yell at them. Confront them wherever you see them. This was in regards to people in Trump's inner circle at the time, mainly. But it was loosely extended to anyone that was supporting Trump, anyone with a MAGA hat. Don't let him have a moment's rest. Harass them, in other words, criminally in some cases. Somehow she never got in trouble for that. I wonder why the reason was, by the way. Can anyone take a guess? Does it take a genius to find out why she wasn't imprisoned for encouraging other people to commit acts of terrorism? But Maxine Waters aside, I mean, that is a good example because you have the left saying effectively guilt by association. If you have in any way interacted with someone that we have arbitrarily defined as problematic, you're also going to be arbitrarily defined as problematic. This hasn't happened among the right wing very much recently. I mean, you might say, hey, if you're palling around with Mom Dommy and, sucking his cock, you might be a socialist. But you have to go out of your way to actually get that moniker. Otherwise, no, it never spreads around. Nobody really gives a shit. But on the left, it's a little bit different. You made a video clip 15 years ago that taken out of context makes it look like you had fascistic tendencies. Now, you might have been 12 years old at the time or something like that, but it's clearly evidence that right now you're Sieg Heiling while goose stepping down your hallway to your basement, which, of course, because living with parents and stuff like that, that's a common metaphor as well within left-wing propaganda. And so you goose stepped down to the basement and then you immediately began jacking it while drinking Mountain Dew and stuff like that. It's a pile of stereotypes. I've never met a group of people that is more stereotype addled than people on the far left, actually. Supposedly, it's people on the right that stereotype everyone. Well, them black people over there, just don't like them. I'm against them, and snap your suspenders. But that's not the reality. Those aren't the people that are stereotyping. It's the goddamn leftoids, most of which are at least from the middle class, often upper middle class, and sometimes live in outright penthouses. Those are the people that are giving you that propaganda. And a lot of it is guilt by association. And the obsession with it is very, very sheer. Part of it is rage bait because a lot of these people are quite literally paid to post their content. I get paid to hawk biltong, which I eat on a regular basis. Speaking of which, I need to dip into that Bovrite at some point. That's about all. Peace out.